to predate?
It predates the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. Well, all of that stuff is fairly new, but it's just reworks of ancient tech. It's older than the Ethiopian Bible. It's pretty old.
Hmm. Is it older than the Sumerian text?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Hmm. All right, let's get to
I
uh
seen somebody say I must have knew Badine Bishop Wine in the shot. I worked at a club on the west side called Brick Social Club, and I met him in there like 2 or 3 times, but we never carried on any conversation of any significance. I
mhm.
was working as a bouncer, and my extended the conversation was, "Excuse me, brother, can you let these people pass? Thank you, I appreciate it."
Indeed, indeed. Somebody said, any significance of Cleopatra during this time?
Cleopatra was 2,000 years ago, and Cleopatra was way after the Gita.
Hmm. What because there's so much.
Sanskrit is the oldest language that's still spoken. It's the oldest language that's still spoken from the ancient world.
What?
All of these other languages, Latin and Greek and the derivatives, those are all languages that's under 4,000 years old.
What's the oldest language? What are you talking about?
Sanskrit, the language that the
Sanskrit.
Gita is written in.
Sanskrit. Okay.
Right. It's the oldest continuously still spoken language. You have some ancient cultures around the world, but a lot of us has been infiltrated by foreign additions to the local language. But English borrowed a lot of words from Sanskrit, like the word avatar is the Sanskrit word. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
Avatar. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. Avatar is a Sanskrit word. It's not English. The word Aryan, not English. The word Aryan is a Sanskrit word, and it don't mean what they tell us it means. The original Aryans was they call them the untouchables now, but they got removed from their seats of power. Them was Inky kids got removed and replaced with Enlil kids that he had with an Earthborn.
Hmm. Who originally who originally rocked the what's the origin? Like we talk about the origin of certain things. We knew Hitler was deep into the occult. And he started snatching symbols and shit. He had the SWAT sticker. Who originally rocked the SWAT sticker,
The
Rod?
swastika was a symbol from the ancient world that was global. And then it really originally, before they flipped it backwards, it originally meant balance with nature. But when they flipped it backwards, they meant imbalance with nature, belligerent to nature, and it was being used by Hitler to expose the pedophile priest cult.
What you mean?
And
Like,
he came through the Thule Society.
yeah. So what you say balance? What do you mean, like balance with the feminine and masculine?
Balance with the feminine and masculine and balance with the world around you. So let's say I got a village that I'm feeding and I need to feed them and I got to go on a hunt. We didn't just hunt and just kill something and be done with it. We did a spiritual cleansing process before the hunt. Then when we killed the animal, we did a ceremony over the animal as we took the entrails out and spilt the blood on the ground. All of those things was overseen by priests that used to attend the hunt with the soldiers, with the warriors, with the ones that went out and did the hunt. Now they just take it to the slaughterhouse and slaughter it. But if you get something that's kosher or something that's halal, they have to follow the ancient processes. That's why it's kosher. That's why it's halal, because they following ancient practices in the cleansing of the carcass that they're about to consume.
Is there any connection, Rod? You talked about Yahweh being see, I got the hat here. You talked about Yahweh being a title representing one
Mm,
who could balance the masculine and feminine. Is
yeah.
there a connection then between the original swastika and the whole the title of Yahweh being that it's both dealing with balancing masculine and feminine? No, yes, what?
No, the swastika predate the English, the word Yahweh.
Predates Hebrew. That's why it predates the whole.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Sanskrit is way older than Hebrew. Hebrew's like one of the newer languages.
yeah. The Hebrew is probably around 8,000 years old, but Sanskrit is at a minimum of 60,000 years old. Those scrolls you've seen,
Yeah.
some of them scrolls date back 200-300,000 years.
Woo, man. So what about the glyphs in Kemet? How old is those? The hieroglyphs. How old is that?
Those are about 7,000 years old.
Oh, so that's fairly new.
Yeah, but you gotta remember when Kemet was originally built, they didn't put hieroglyphics on everything.
Right, right, right. That
But
was
when the dynastic period came about, they began to write the hieroglyphics that was in the scrolls on in the stone. And
uh,
this was because they had a prophecy that the human was going to go into a Kali Yuga. And
mhm.
he was going to be ignorant to who he is. So they had to put stuff in writing so we can discover it while we got amnesia and use it as a map to break the amnesia on the first one that can break it on themselves and tell everybody else how to break it. But once you understand the mechanics of the conjure, it don't work on you no more because your spiritual defenses will begin to put protection in those areas by nature.
Mhm.
This is why they had to do everything secret squirrel, and we do everything blatant in their face, out in the open. No retreat, no surrender. We just telling you what it is, and follow the oral tradition and inform as many of the clans people as possible because we want to empower our tribes. We don't want to take the power and concentrate it on one individual or two individuals. We want everybody to have a say in the tribal way. If a 2-year-old got a coherent question, the adult obligated to ask it to the one who have the answer.
Right, right. But I just seen a question. uh they want to know, is the Bhagavad Gita designed to help connect you to your soul? Right.
It's wisdom teachings in there. Anything that you learn on earth, you gotta remember. It's unified field theory. All things are interconnected. Being exposed to ancient information is telling you something you knew before you was indoctrinated. There's something that you instinctively knew. Anything that you instinctively knew before you was indoctrinated into ignorance, it is an attempt to wake you up from the slumber. All of those ancient scrolls can facilitate your awakening.
Mhm, mhm.
They got another one called the Zendavesta. That's from the Middle East. You have the Vedas, which is also a Hindu scroll,
The Bob,
right?
Bob Bob used to talk about the Rig Vedas. The Rig Vedas.
That's also a Hindu scroll,
Yeah.
right? And all of these different texts, they're going to do something different in the neurology. They're going to affect the brain different, the information and how you perceive it. If you go in there with your Christian dogma mindset of everything evil but the church,
Uh-huh.
you're going to just be confuse yourself worse than you was before you went in there.
Uh.
But if you go in with an open mind and a clear conscience and you just a truth seeker, you're going to open up something in yourself that's going to allow you to go further.
Right. Rod, they want to know, are any cities in North America corresponding to cities in India that may affect us on the land?
We got twin cities all over. Not sure that it's one city in America that's a corresponding city to India. I think the only similarities I can immediately identify is New Orleans is equivalent to Bengali,
Mm,
the ancient city of India, because it's the oldest city that's still inhabited in India. And New Orleans is the oldest capital still inhabited in America.
mm, indeed. Somebody keeps asking this in the chat. I'm I'm gonna let Rod answer your question because you done posted this question 7 times. They want to know, can you speak on on the alignment, the Earth between four gas giant?
The gas giants are speaking of certain types of planets. And I think we only got two in our solar system is Jupiter and Saturn, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm,
But the other ones are in the trail, in the planetary trail behind Nibiru,
mhm,
right? And the alignment that he's talking about is a planetary alignment when Nibiru comes by, and they are juxtaposed. The four of them are juxtaposed at only for a short period of time, and it activate higher energies. But the specifically that's happens every probably 36,000 years or so.
mhm.
Whenever Nibiru makes its orbit.
Right. Uh Somebody said, can you speak on taste mentioned in the Gita, bittersweet, sour, etc.?
Well, you can study the science of taste and get that explained for yourself. That's
Mhm,
an easy topic to research. It's talking about the um it's just giving him all of these little tidbits of understanding to look at things with the spiritual lens in the physical world. All
mhm.
these little tidbits that Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna is like keys to waking up. You looking at taste, you look at sound, smell, sight. You're talking five senses, and this is just the breakdown of the sense of taste.
Mhm. Indeed. This is a question for me. Somebody said, Brother Rich, have you sent out the replay of the gathering? But I haven't received the replay. I started sending them out. You'll get the files are actually they're like 50 gigabytes. So I'm sending out a download, so it's taking a little longer. But half of y'all probably got it. That's in the chat. But you will get it soon, Nelly Barker. You will get it soon. But and I am in the process of sending it out. So you will get it soon, Nelly Barker. Somebody says, what did they call the land of India in Bhagavad Gita?
I don't remember. They got a name for it in there, but I don't remember.
Okay. Let's see what else. Uh about this. Does Rod know anything about some called mitochondrial Eve?
Hmm. That's just the oldest continuous line from women that's been tested from around the world. The common mitochondrial ancestor is known as mitochondrial Eve.
Mm,
They got a National Geographic edition and a documentary on mitochondrial Eve, and they got one on what they call primordial Adam.
mm. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right. We're gonna do two more questions, then we're gonna get out of here. Um, Somebody said, can Rod touch where's it at? On geomancy. Can Rod touch on geomancy?
That's the magical science, earth magic science, using the earth element as the primary instrument of your magical practice is called geomancy or charming of the earth. Is what it translates as earth charming.
Indeed, indeed. All right, all right. Hmm. All right, last question for the night. Are there what y'all be saying? Are there two space and outer space above us and inner space in the ocean? Do you understand this? I don't,
I have no fucking clue what that's saying.
brother. Y'all gotta, I told y'all this before, the grammar. Y'all gotta, I know y'all gotta get this so we could understand, what y'all saying. You gotta get your grammar together. Uh Let me see. Yeah. Okay, where's this? Maya Mystic wants to know, how do Rod feel about chaos magic and sigils? Can it save the children?
Chaos magic is the ability to use every form of magic that you encounter. That's the true what true chaos magic is. You're not strictly stuck in one discipline. You use what works. And sigils is a badass science. That's one of the coldest stuff because you can activate the sigil, you can write the sigil, and you can use the sigil indefinitely, and it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sigil, I refer a lot of people that ask me to sigil magic because it's the same as writing an app for the brain.
Woo! Come on, Rod.
It's the code, it's the app code to create symbols that the brain can gather all this information from.
Powerful, powerful. I was just taking notes when you said that. Oh man. All right. Let's see. I think I'm gonna squeeze one more in. Uh okay. Somebody said, can Rod touch on the three types of hearing according to Hinduism? I don't know about that. I never heard of that.
I'm not sure what they're talking about. 'Cause Hinduism got so many different sciences within its teachings,
Yeah.
and then you got the ones who follow Kali Ma, the Thuggy, and you got the Brahmins. Then you got the ones that's practitioners of Siva, and they all got different sciences that teach different ways
Right.
according to the their doctrines, and each one of them got different doctrine. Hinduism, it's not really a religion.
Mm-hmm.
Like a religion is used to control people.
Mm-hmm.
Hinduism is used to break people free spiritually, but they stuck in the caste system because that's a conjure.
Mm, 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 mm. Somebody wants to know, Rod, can he elaborate on how to tap into your eighth chakra?
First, you got to worry about the seven chakras before you start dealing with the 8, 9, 10, 11,
Right.
right? Which is actually the chakras in your palms and your feet. The other four is to
Mm-hmm.
take you to 11, right? But some people believe the eighth chakra is about a foot above your head at the exit of the auric field.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case. It's so many more chakras in the physical body before you start counting the chakras that are in your etheric body.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's like subjective to school of thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any chakras in your hand, Rod? You talk about the palm, your feet. Any chakras in your hand?
You right in the center of your palm.
Right in the center of
Right
your
there.
palm.
Yeah. If you face your palms together
Mm-hmm.
and you focus,
You feel it.
you could feel it.
Yeah.
That's that's your chi. The stronger you can make that power between the palms, the stronger your auric field is, your spirit body.
Uh-huh.
And that exercise of pushing the palms until you feel that energy field, that's an activation. Once you get it activated, you keep doing it, the stronger you can get it. I mean, people can break the field, it'll literally raise the hair up on their arms in the early stages. But when you get good, you can turn it hot, you can turn it cold, you can make it produce scents, or
Mm-hmm.
you can make it produce moisture.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of stuff you could do just with the two chakras of the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Your feet chakra is designed to communicate with Earth,
Mm-hmm.
specifically to communicate with Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody that tell you the ground tell you to take your shoes off,
Mm-hmm.
because the chakras on the bottom of your feet, it's like every time you standing on the Earth, you plugged in to the Earth field.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put the rubber barrier of the soles of the shoes between it, you break the current.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the tools that they use to accelerate our process of aging
Mm-hmm.
by
You know,
cutting us off from the earth.
right. So, all right. So we all know about healers. We hear the story about Jesus. Last question is coming from me. We hear the stories about Jesus laying hands on people. You know, hands. You just talked about the chi coming out of our hands. You lay hands on people. Sometime if you give a person a massage, they feel 1,000 times better after you touch them. You rub them or whatever. Um, So if we're known for thousands of years of healing people with our hands, something else that needs healing is, and that's depleted, is our soil. Can we heal the soil with our hands? Can we lay our hands, because we hear about the feet, but can we lay hands on our soil and heal the soil the same way we do healing people with our hands, Rod, in order to get better
It's
food?
it's a different mind frame and it's a different energy projection. The easiest way to heal barren soil is get you some moringa leaves.
Right, right.
Moringa is like a miracle fertilizer for barren soil,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you could take powdered moringa, mix it with water, saturate some dead soil that won't grow nothing, and all kind of greenery will start popping up.
Yo, I already made up my mind, Rod. I don't care what nobody say. This is what I'm gonna do when I start cooking food. Check this out. I'm gonna, and I'll be, I think like a musician, and me and Dr. B be kicking in about, I even asked Dr. B about, instead of saying affirmations, singing affirmations to your DNA and to your genes and shit. The same way you get the girls' panty wet and you make the girls go crazy, you might be able to make yourselves go crazy by singing in them or whatever, in a good way. I'm gonna have this. Is what I'm gonna have when I have my farm, Rod. I'm gonna hire some singers, and I'm gonna have them sing out in the fields over the place. They say during so-called slavery, we used to sing in the fields. I'm gonna hire people to sing in the fields where the
Listen,
food is at, Rod. They gonna be
they keep
singing.
blaming everything we do on slavery.
Mm,
We were singing to the earth long before slavery was a concept.
there you go. There you go.
Right. We've been using the agency of sound
Mm,
at least 100,000 years to affect change in the physical reality.
mm,
That's when they say speak a thing into existence. When you go to Kemet, they talk about the Husi, authoritative utterance with the exceptional insight.
mm.
And all around the world, Kali Ma with her tongue hanging out, the mother's raised, where she calling you everything but a child of God.
Whew.
All of it is based on sound. It's based on the sound and the vibration of the singing.
Mm.
It affects the animals. Music soothes the savage beast. That's real.
Yo, that's true. Right. So check it out. So you all right? So you was on the show. I know I said I was gonna end that. When
Mhm.
shit get good,
Go ahead, go ahead, brother Rich. I ain't got nowhere to go.
it was a show where it was you, Billy, Sharif, and Beadell. And I think that was the show. Remember, I was playing the recorder.
Hmm.
So I was outside late at night, and I was playing the recorder with the what do you call them? The that chirping that be at night. What's that called?
The crickets.
The crickets. Yeah, I was recording the crickets at night. Just experimenting and shit like that. Now, when you play the crickets in reverse, it's the exact same. There's no reverse. There's no reverse, bro. If I say something and I play reverse, you hear them. There's no reverse with the crickets. You got explain that to me, Rod. There's no reverse.
It's because it's only one pitch, one frequency.
Uh-huh. Okay.
There's no other side to it.
Okay.
In order for you to have a reverse, you have a two-sided frequency,
Mm.
or else it's gonna sound the same frontwards or backwards,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And as you move vibrations up the sound barrier, you
Mm-hmm.
got sounds that affect matter, and you got sounds that don't. You got sounds that affect water, cymatics, and you got sounds that don't,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And these experiment with these different sounds causes different things to take place in the energy that's in your surroundings,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Remember, Beethoven has the side effect of causing the child's brain to operate at a genius capacity.
Mm-hmm.
The same with Bach and a couple more of those classical artists.
They were so-called black, right? By the way.
Most of them was.
They,
Beethoven was a brother. Amadeus was a mulatto.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like how much of the drop of blood you want him to have, depending, you know, his nature knows no color line.
Yeah.
Warren G. Harding was president during the 1900s, and they hid his sister out because she was chocolate and he was vanilla.
Mm.
And then somebody on the campaign trail asked him if he was passing. He
Whew.
said, "Ah, well, you asked me. Shoot, I wasn't born yet. There was a whole bunch of jumping back and forth across the fence back in them days. I could be anything."
Wow. Wow. Man.
Yeah, a lot of these people that we think pale faces is passing. Clark Gable, Fred Astaire, J. Edgar Hoover. There's a lot of them. They're just passing.
Yeah.
Jane Mansfield,
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, they passing. That's why they got so much star power, because they still had that original drop that they came to get. And now, about 80% of these people we think is pale faces is passing.
Mm.
Right? You gotta remember when they called the end to the war, what they called the Emancipation Proclamation, when they took the slaves from the plantation and the government owned them now. All of them people that they so-called set free that was mulattoes, where they go?
Mm.
We don't pay attention to the imitation of life.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Good point. Yeah.
You know, they all moved into the mainstream pale face communities and married into them, and we think that they a whole different people. They just got lightened up through amalgamation.
Right.
They pass it.
Right. Mm.
And if you want to know if they passing, all I could tell you is the booty don't lie.
Oh man. And on that note, man, yo, Rod, by the way, yo, Rod, I gotta call you tomorrow. I want to get you back on Patreon to do a follow-up to the what's the what we did, the telepathy joint we did. I want to do a follow-up on extrasensory perception. So I'm definitely gonna call you on that, and we'll try to set that up probably sometime next week or something like that. But man, what a show, y'all. What a show. I know y'all, and you know what be mad fun when we be doing these big panels. When we doing these panels, man. I gotta get you on one of those again, Rod. Gotta get you.
I only like being on the panel with certain people, but you got a pretty good feel of my energy, so you've been
Yeah,
putting me on with everybody that I like to talk to.
you and Billy, y'all be killing it on the panel together, man. So
Hey, look, when me and Billy get to really spend some time together, man, y'all gonna be mind blown, because he always do something to trigger me to go to another level of knowledge.
indeed.
And by me being able to chop it up with him, just feel his energy in person,
Yeah.
that's gonna be powerful for me.
Oh yeah. We gotta connect y'all in person, man. We gotta do something, man. Man, listen, Rob, man, it was a pleasure having you on here, man. Any information you want to leave the people with to contact you before you get out of here, leave it for the family. We still got about 3,000 people in the room. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Let the people know how they could get in touch with you, Rod.
Before I do that, Rich, I want to expound on something I seen in the comments.
Yes.
America is not ancient Egypt. I'm gonna say that again. America is not ancient Egypt. America is not Northwest Africa. Egypt ain't even ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt wasn't called Egypt by the people that lived there.
Mm.
America can't be ancient Egypt, and the term Egypt is a modern Greek term.
Mm.
Right? What it is the appropriation of global culture that took place into antediluvian world, covered the whole of the planet. The knowledge of the pyramid priests is the knowledge that built the earth. And that knowledge still exists in all continents. It's just pieces of it have been extracted, and now it's like putting together a big puzzle. The original Temple of Isis was in the Arizona, what we call the Grand Canyon. And there was the original pyramid complex. This was the great Atlant that they became known as Atlantis after Plato called it Atlantis. But it wasn't Atlantis. It was the Great Atlan.
Right.
And the Atlanta is more properly named than Atlantis is. The people that they thawed out in Antarctica are ancient Atlanteans. They Lemurian Atlanteans. That was a flash froze civilization, and they thawed some of them people out. And then they told us this fabricated story that these people was part of an experiment of some people they brought from Africa. The same BS they told us about us over here. Them people that they was in Antarctica was already there. They already was there, frozen in the ice, and they used the cryostasis recovery method to thaw them people out. And that's when they found out that they didn't effed around, right? So when people start trying to designate Turtle Island as Egypt or ancient Egypt or North Africa, it's because they trying to disassociate us from this landmass as a people that was already here before any other settlers came.